internet. I really hope you can't hear the noise in the background, but they've been working on the roof over my apartment building today, and it's almost 7 o'clock and they're still working on it, and it's about to be dark, and I have no other day that I can film a video, so we're just gonna roll with it. I'm just gonna do something quick. For those of you who watch my channel regularly, you know that I recently moved. I've been in this apartment about a month and a half, and so obviously whenever I moved, I had to redo my bookshelves. And I did a bookshelf tour back in, I think, February, and it was the extensive pull each book out and say the name and title kind of bookshelf tour. And back then I organized my books alphabetically. I had them split between red and TBR. And since I moved into this apartment, I organize them a bit differently now. I have them organized by genre, and I still have them split between red and TBR. So I don't want to do another bookshelf tour because I just did one so recently. So I thought instead I would just kind of give you an overview of what my bookshelf looks like, because the books themselves really haven't changed that much. I don't really think I need to do another bookshelf tour until like maybe the end of the year. I might wait until next February again or something like that, just because the books themselves really haven't changed. Just the way they're organized has. So I'm going to kind of give you a rundown of how I organize my books now. So here's the top of my bookshelf, which looks basically the same as it used to. And then here's just kind of a quick overview of how it's all laid out. And the bottom's pretty messy there. So this is kind of what it looks like. So this top shelf for the shelf on the left is my fantasy shelf. So I've got some series up there, and some trinkets, which are also the same as the trinkets that were in my bookshelf tour decorations video. I'm gonna link both of those videos in the description, by the way. And then when you move down, this is my favorite fantasy shelf. So all of my favorite fantasy books I've read so far. Now the two dust jackets right here, those are both books I'm currently reading, so ignore that. But the rest of it, I've got Throne of Glass, The Six of Crows duology, Three Dark Crowns, Percy Jackson, Shades of Magic, and A Monster Calls. And so that's what's kind of made the favorites shelf so far. Not to say these books I didn't love, but I just loved these a little bit more. Alright, moving down to this shelf, of course I always have a Harry Potter shelf, so this is pretty much exclusively all Harry Potter stuff. I've added a few trinkets, like the big Hagrid Funko Pop, but for the most part it's kind of the same. This shelf right here is my favorite contemporary shelf. So I could only make so many different genres, so I basically considered contemporary like a book that is set in kind of either the present or the very near past in some cases. Basically not so far away that it's considered to be historical fiction, but maybe not necessarily like contemporary romance or anything like that either. So this is my favorites shelf for contemporary, and then the one below that is the rest of my contemporary that I've read. And then this bottom shelf is of course a TBR shelf, which is why it is overstuffed to the brim. So that is the entirety of the first shelf. Then we get over to the skinny shelf. So this top shelf is strictly nonfiction. So I've got some poetry, I've got some autobiographies and memoirs and things like that. Going down one, I've basically got two shelves, this one and this one, that are science fiction and dystopian. So I wanted to split up between science fiction and dystopian, but it just didn't work out the way I wanted. So they both are both shelves kind of share both genres. So here's the first one and then the second one. Down here, this is my classics shelf, and I also have a couple of graphic novels over to the side because I didn't have another place to put them at the moment. So these are all of my classics, and then down here I've got my word cloud classics stacked over to the right, and then to the left I've got my historical fiction, which is a small collection right now, but I've got a bunch on my TBR as well. And then down here on the bottom, this is also my TBR shelf, but I try to put the books on here that I'm planning on reading the soonest that I'm aware of. So it may be my TBR for the month, it may just be books that I want to get to sooner rather than later. but I kind of try to reserve that shelf for that.
So it's just kind of a quick little update on what my shelves look like now. I don't know if y'all even care, but I know that I really love looking at people's bookshelves. For some reason, it's just very satisfying for me, so I thought I'd make one to kind of let y'all know what mine look like now, and maybe sometime later on in the year I'll do another bookshelf tour. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but that will be it for this video, and I will see you guys next time with another video. Bye.